Okay, I'm back. I've been gone for a while. If I'm being honest, I was gone because honestly, I don't think you guys really care. I was kind of waiting for another big week to happen. I feel like not enough is happening. But the regular season did just end. Now we're going to conference tournaments. So I'm going to be predicting the ACC conference tournament for basketball, the Big Ten, and then the SEC, and last I'll predict the Big 12. I want to get right into things right away. So for the ACC tournament, we're going to start off with Stanford versus Cal. Right away, I got Stanford winning this game. I was gonna say they're not bad, but they're not that good. I got Stanford beating. Oh, sorry, not Cal. I don't know what I'm talking about. Stanford versus Pitt. I got Stanford beating Pitt. Not really too much why. They're both not great, but I think Stanford's just a better overall team. Syracuse versus SMU. I got SMU winning that pretty handily. Again, not really much to say. I think SMU probably has a better offense. If I'm being honest, I'm gonna let it out right now because it's probably gonna show later on. I'm not a big ACC guy, but I can kind of tell when a team is better than another. Oh, Virginia Tech, Wake Forest, 12 versus 13. I got Virginia Tech winning that game. I actually don't think Virginia Tech is that bad of a 12 seed in the conference tournament. They're not good, of course, but in this conference tournament, they're a type of team that can make it to maybe North Carolina, maybe. But moving on, you got Stanford versus NC State. NC State's gonna beat them for sure. NC State, I'm not gonna lie right now. There's a couple of dark horses I have for the tournament. NC State's one of them. On any given day, NC State could just make it to the Sweet 16. I was gonna say the Elite Eight. I don't think they're making it to the Elite Eight. There's another team later on though. I do think they could make it to the Elite Eight as a dark horse. So yeah, NC State wins. Move on. They move on to the next round. Then you got SMU versus Louisville. I got Louisville immediately. Louisville is a type of team where they're not great, but they make it to the tournament every year, like the March Madness, not this tournament, because every team in their conference makes it, but still. Louisville is just kind of just out there, you know. They're a team that makes it every year. They're not great every year, but they're not the worst every year. They just make it. I got Louisville winning this. You got Florida State versus Cal next. Honestly, Florida State's not bad. They're not a bad school. Cal isn't either. But you know what? I got Cal win. I got California win this game. I think California's going to beat them. Because when you got these 8 and 9 seed game, it's almost like not even, just because of the 8 seed, that means like, it's going to be an upset if they lose. No, it's not even an upset. I'm not even surprised when a 9 seed beats an 8 seed leaves. I'm talking so fast. I'm not even surprised when a 9 seed beats an 8 seed because it's too common. I got Cal winning this pretty handily. Or sorry, not handily. Just I got them winning. Clemson versus Virginia Tech. Clemson. They're kind of the same thing I said about Louisville, except they're a little bit better. They're not great every year, but they make it. And they're always like a top. They're usually like a 6 seed or a 7 seed. It's pretty good. But yeah, I got Clemson winning and moving on. Okay, now we got NC State versus Virginia. Hear me out. I got NC State winning this. I got NC State winning against Virginia and moving on to the conference semifinals. I told you, man. I think NC State's a little bit of a dark horse. Anyway, we got Louisville versus Miami. I got Miami winning. I think Miami is also a dark horse. They got a point guard named Trey Donaldson who, yes, went to Auburn, but I think he's pretty good. He sometimes clutches up when the time is right. Okay. During the tournament, no, not really. He doesn't really clutch up during the tournament, but he usually clutches up in moments like the conference tournaments. In the March Madness, he's not really great there, but in these type of moments, he clutches up. So I think Trey Donaldson does good in this game. Now we got Duke versus. I picked Cal. That's right. Duke versus Cal. Duke dominates them. Not just because of Duke. If I'm being honest, I think this Duke team is better than last year. You know why? Because I thought last year Duke was a little overrated just because of the fact that they had a weak conference schedule. The ACC last year was weak. I thought it was weak. I'm not going to lie. They had nobody good in that conference. I think they had one other consistently ranked team in that conference. I didn't think Duke was that good last year. I mean, they were good, but I didn't think they were great, as good as this year. Okay? I think this Duke team this year is pretty good. To me, Duke, earlier in the year, I thought Duke was I thought Duke was a pretty good team, but I thought Michigan was the best. I think Duke is the best team this year. For sure. And I think they have the number overall pick. I think I'm blanking on his name right now. I don't know why, but every time I try to mention a player recently, I'm blanking on their name. I'm trying to look it up right now. Sorry, Cam Boozer. I think Boozer might be better than Cooper Flag. I know it's kind of weird to say. I think he's better than Cooper Flag. I think he's more physical than Flag was. I think Flag is pretty good. Like when he's driving in, he does some jelly stuff. I think Boozer just takes it to the rack. He's just more physical down low. And usually when you're more physical, you're gonna make it. Not saying Flag isn't gonna make it into the NBA, but I think Boozer's just different. I think Duke dominates Cal. Okay, this team right here, North Carolina. I'm about to talk about North Carolina versus Clemson. This is what I'm talking about, man. North Carolina is a dark horse. They are. I think North Carolina goes to the Elite Eight. That's their max potential. I think they could lose in the round of 32, but I think they go to the Elite Eight because I think they have good shooters. And I know they got dominated by Duke, but it's at Duke, and Duke's just Duke. All right. Also, North Carolina was one of the only teams to beat Duke this year. Duke has 2 losses, and one of them came to North Carolina. If you can beat the best team in the nation, you're a dark horse. They're stealing Final Four. Calling it. North Carolina can go to the Final Four. In fact, no. I'm going to take a step higher. They can go to the Natty. If you can beat Duke, you can go to the Natty. Remember a couple years ago, it was Coach K's last season. Not only did they beat Coach K in his last game at Duke's Arena, they beat Coach K in the Final Four as an 8 seed. North Carolina was an 8 seed, man. North Carolina, max, they could win the whole thing. I don't care. They could win the whole thing. That's the dark horse. I have them going far this year. Now we got the Miami versus NC State. Give me Miami. I told you, man. Trey Donaldson. He's clutch. He got that, clutch factor. He got that clutch factor, man. Yeah, give me Miami to go to the ACC championship. Now we got Duke versus North Carolina. Now I told you, North Carolina can win. They can beat Duke. Do I think they're going to beat Duke here? I'm actually thinking about this. I didn't really prepare about this. I didn't really prepare going into this one. Duke versus North Carolina conference tournament. Now, each of them has a win this year. Duke beat North Carolina in Duke. North Carolina beat Duke in North Carolina. But you know what? I'm going to take the upset. I got North Carolina going to the conference championship. Yeah. I got North Carolina beating Duke. Because if anyone could beat Duke, it's North Carolina. That's the best rivalry in college basketball, hands down. Doesn't matter what they're ranked. Every year is the best rivalry. Okay? every year. Okay, North Carolina can get blown out by Duke, and it's still the best rivalry every year. This is hands down the best rivalry. I think they're made up for a third time. I think North Carolina wins, and I think there's a chance they can meet up in March Madness, and North Carolina wins again. So give me North Carolina versus Miami in the conference championship, where North Carolina wins, baby. Give me North Carolina to win the conference championship and have a lot of momentum going into March Madness. Okay, that wraps up for the ACC. Let's go into the Big Ten. Now, the Big Ten is interesting to me because I think they have a Final Four team in there, and I think it's pretty obvious who it is. But we'll get to that in a second. Maryland versus Oregon. Give me Oregon. I think Oregon's actually not bad. They're not bad. I don't care what their ranking is. I don't care what their record is. They're not bad. Give me Oregon. Penn State versus Northwestern. I think I'm going to take Northwestern here. Not really too much to say. Just give me Northwestern. Now we got Oregon versus Iowa. I'm going to take Iowa. I think Iowa is just, it's Iowa. Not great, but not the worst thing ever. Give me Iowa. Now we got USC versus Washington. I'm going to take Washington. They're not good at basketball. That's it. I mean, they're just better than USC, I think. I think I'm going to take Washington, yeah. Now we got Northwestern versus Indiana. Give me Indiana. I mean, they're all right. They're all right. Just give me Indiana, I'm trying to run through these a little bit. These are just like the most boring games. Rutgers versus Minnesota. Give me Rutgers. An upset. Give me Rutgers. Now we got Iowa versus Ohio State. Ohio State right now is a bubble team. Right? No. They're in. They're like 19-10, I think. Or no, that was probably before the games of Saturday. I don't know what the record is. Something like that. I think they're in right now, if I'm correct on that. I think Ohio State could do all right in the tournament. Hold on. Some iPads going off in the back. Sorry. Anyway, I think Ohio State could do all right, but if I'm being honest, I think they're going to lose probably the first round. I'm not going to lie. They'll probably lose the first round. But I got them moving on into this game to go against Michigan next round. But going down the line, I got Washington versus Wisconsin. Give me Wisconsin. I actually don't think Wisconsin's that bad. I think Wisconsin can make it to the Sweet 16. I really do. I think Wisconsin is kind of always under the radar. Like, they don't miss it. Like, it's the same thing I've been saying earlier, but they always do. They never miss it, but they don't do great in the tournament. They never have, a run. They're just under the radar. I think they're going to make it to the Sweet 16 this year, maybe, if they're lucky. But they're not bad. Give me Wisconsin to play Illinois right for the Wow, this is a big conference tournament. They'll right to play Illinois in their next round. Now we got Indiana versus Purdue. Give me Purdue. I like their point guard, Braden Smith. Purdue is Elite Eight type of team. They are. I don't care. Purdue has a great team. And here's the thing. They have a point guard named Braden Smith. Here's what you got to know about point guards. Point guards and centers, they both run basketball. If you don't have a good point guard, you don't got a great team. If you don't have a great center or great depth in centers, you're not going to have a good team. It's those two positions that matter the most. Now, sure, shooting guard matters. Small forward matters. Power forward matters. But if you don't got a good point guard and you don't got a good center, you're not a good team. They got both. Now, I'm not really going to talk about their center because I like their point guard way more. Braden Smith, they're going to be a dark horse. Cinderella this year, I think. So, yeah, give me Purdue versus Indiana win. Give me Purdue beating Indiana, sorry. Now we got UCLA versus Rutgers. Just give me UCLA. Basic, easy. Okay, Ohio State, Michigan. Michigan's going to beat them up. Boom, boom, boom. Belt. Give me Michigan, bro. In fact, I want to get to this team. I think Michigan's going to make it to the Final Four. I was doing some research the other day. I'm pretty sure they're ninth in the nation in offense and second in the nation in defense. That was like maybe about a week ago. But anyway, yeah. I mean, here's the thing. I always say this motto: defense wins championships. Now, you only need a defense and no offense? No. The defense depends on the offense, and the offense depends on the defense. That's how this game works. Now, that's what. Okay, that saying really goes with football better, but you still need a good offensive basketball and a good defense. But if I were to choose, maybe I don't know what I'm talking about at this point. But look, still, Michigan, they're underrated. They're underrated 1 seed. I think they can make it to the Final Four. Now, could they slip up? Yes. I think they're probably the most probable 1 seed to slip up. Actually, that's not true. I have a team later on that I think as a 1 seed they could slip up. And they're actually good. They're actually in the next tournament we're going to talk about, but we'll get to that later. Michigan, I think they're good. I think they can make it to the Final Four. Do I think they're going to win the championship? Maybe. I'll talk about that later, though. Later. Now we got Wisconsin versus Illinois. You know what? Give me Wisconsin. Give me Wisconsin to beat Illinois. A little upset. I think Illinois is not great. I mean, they're all right. Wait, hold on. Disrespecting Illinois for a second. Illinois is good, but Wisconsin is like an upset type team where I think they'll beat Illinois to face Michigan. Purdue beats Nebraska. Boom, I said it. They beat Nebraska. Nebraska's not bad, but they beat Nebraska. All right. I see Purdue upsetting teams right now. All right, UCLA versus Michigan State. Give me Michigan State. Michigan State's been good recently in basketball. Last year they made it to the Elite Eight as a 2nd seed. That's pretty good. This year they're not as good as that, but I think they can make it to the Sweet 16. But yeah, I think they're gonna beat UCLA. I think they're not bad. They're not bad at all. I think they're pretty good. Moving on, Michigan's gonna beat down Wisconsin. Boom, 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 boom. Next round, they go to the championship. They're going to the championship. Now we got Purdue versus Michigan State. I'm telling you, man, Purdue's not bad. Give me Purdue to beat Michigan State. Give me Purdue. Braden Smith. That's the dog. I think he's a dog, bro. He's little. He looks like a pirate. I'm telling you, with that beard, he looks like a pirate, but he's a dog, man. Give me Purdue. And so now the championship is Michigan versus Purdue. I'm a little high on Purdue, but Michigan's going to tear them up, bro. I mean, it could be an upset. Michigan is a type of team to screw up, but they're not screwing up in this game. Give me Michigan. They're going to win the Big Ten championship, and I think they're going to make it to the Final Four. But yeah, Michigan, I think, is going to be your Big Ten champs. Moving on to the SEC, my conference. As an Auburn fan, I think the SEC this year was pretty weak. Now, I think the amount of teams we're getting into the tournament is a little impressive, but the way, like the talent they have is not great. And I'm going to get to that in a second. I'm going to get to the team in a second that's going to pay for it. Okay, first game, it's LSU versus Kentucky. Give me Kentucky. Kentucky's actually not bad. They're really not. I think they can make it to the Sweet 16. That's their max, though. That's their max. Kentucky and Mark Pope is not going to work. Look, here's the thing about Kentucky, right? Kentucky is a team that's used to winning, and Mark Pope's not going to do it for them. Calipari was a winner, and he went to Arkansas, and he's still a winner. Darius Acuff was just named SEC Player of the Year. That's why I think Arkansas can make it to the Elite Eight. They almost did last year. They were like a 10 seed because they had so many injuries, and they all came back, and they're like they made a run, and they just lost in the Sweet 16 when they could have made it to the Elite Eight and maybe the Final Four if they got lucky. Maybe. But I think I'm getting a little ahead of myself. So, yeah, I got Kentucky. Next, we got Mississippi State versus Auburn. Now, here's the thing about Auburn, right? Mississippi State's not special. They're really not. They're not going to make it into the tournament. They got Josh Hubbard, who's like, he's pretty good, but he's on a trash team. That's it. Auburn, here's the thing about Auburn, right? They're not a bad team. I sound biased, but they're really not. What had happened was, since Bruce Pearl retired, his son got a job. I don't got no problem with that. I think Stephen Pearl is actually a good coach. Every coach has gone through this. Todd Golden, in his first year with Florida, missed the tournament. Now he is a national champion. He won the SEC tournament last year with the Natty. This year, they're going to be a 1 seed probably. And I'm going to get to that in a second. I was going to say something, but it's going to ruin my predictions. I mean, Todd, it's a process. I had no problem with Steve Pearl being the coach. Thing is, he's trying to be a disciplinarian. He's trying to discipline players who's getting in trouble, right? Like our 5-star true freshman point guard, Caden Magwood. He's benched for the whole season because he got in trouble. So now, and we got some injuries going on, like Aporum, the 7-foot center who we had, who was kind of like a project. He's like pretty skinny. He got hurt. Or no, he didn't get hurt. He had some medical issues going on. So he's out for the whole season. And so we really got 7 guys. Keyshawn Hall, Tahai Pettiford, Kevin Overton, I'm blanking right now. Keyshawn Murphy, Sebastian Williams-Adams. I always blank with these. There's 2 more. And I know that what they look – Jovic. That's right. And then you got – I know he looks like – I'm just blanking. I have a hard time with that. But anyway, I'm ranting a little bit too much about Auburn. Give me Auburn to beat Mississippi State. Now we got Ole Miss versus Texas. Give me Texas. Texas isn't bad. I think they're going to make tournament. I think they're going to make tournament. Pretty sure they are. I think Texas is going to be Ole Miss. Not bad. I was going to say handily, but Ole Miss isn't the worst team ever, but I think Texas is going to be pretty good. Oklahoma versus South Carolina. South Carolina is trash. Oklahoma's not good either, but South Carolina is trash, dog. Give me Oklahoma. Okay, Kentucky versus Missouri. Give me Kentucky. Give me Kentucky. Give me Kentucky. Kentucky's going to make a little run this tournament. That's all I got to say. Missouri's not great. I think Kentucky's actually just a little better. They just have some unlucky losses, man. Now we got Auburn versus Tennessee. I think Tennessee wins. It hurts my heart to say it, but I think Tennessee's actually not a bad team. They lost to Vanderbilt, but Vanderbilt's actually not bad. They have a double bye in the tournament. I think the Vanderbilt's going to make it to the Sweet 16. I don't think they're going to make it to the Elite 8. They're not great, but I think they're not bad. Tennessee's not bad either. I think they can also make it to the Sweet 16. But yeah, I think Tennessee beats Auburn. Anyway, Texas versus Georgia. Give me Georgia. I think Georgia's not bad. Georgia is getting a lot better at basketball lately. I think they were better last year, but in the tickle of decline. But I think they're all right. I think they're probably going to lose in the second round this year, but no, it's whatever. Texas A&M versus Oklahoma. Give me Texas A&M. Honestly, I know it says they're a 6 seed. Here's what I got to say about that, right? They're a 6 seed, but I think they can be better. They're not bad. Give me Texas A&M. Florida versus Kentucky. Florida's good up. Boom, boom, boom. Florida goes on. Now I got Vanderbilt versus Tennessee. I think Tennessee gets the revenge, man. I know it's in Nashville. It's right next to Vanderbilt. I think Tennessee has a better fan base. Give me Tennessee. It's going to be crowd noise because Tennessee. Tennessee cares. Vanderbilt fans, not as much. They're really more of a football school now, which is weird to say. Now we got Alabama versus Georgia. Give me Bama. As much as I hate to say it, Bama's not bad. Aiden Holloway has gotten better over time. Whatever. I'm not going to get into that. I hate Bama. Bama moves on. Arkansas versus Texas A&M. Arkansas's going to kill him. Darius Acuff is a dog. Point guards run basketball. Moving on. Florida versus Vanderbilt. Give me Florida. Oh, hold on. I got to say something about Florida. Their center, he's big. That's why I'm saying centers and point guards run college basketball, man. He's too big. He's going to dominate in the paint. Condon, he's all right. He's not great. He's looking inconsistent at times, but he's pretty good. Wait, what did we just say there? I think Condon's actually going to play well. I think he'll play well, actually. I think they're going to handle Vanderbilt. So I got Florida going to the conference championship. Alabama versus Arkansas. Am I going to be a little biased against Bama? Yes. But Arkansas is special. Give me Arkansas. Darius Acuff's going to cook Aiden Holloway. LeBaron Philon, honestly, I'm going to be honest. I think LeBaron Philon could have won SEC Player of the Year. But Darius Acuff is just another level of this dog, you know? Give me Darius Acuff to cook that whole Bama backcourt, all right? Give me Arkansas to go to the conference championship. And unfortunately for Arkansas, they're going to lose to the best team in the SEC, which is Florida. Florida just can't be beaten like that, except if you're Auburn, because Auburn just beats the weirdest teams, you know? Look, I want to talk about Florida for a minute. They're going to be a 1 seed. I think they're going to lose early. I think they can make it to the Elite 8, but the SEC is kind of weak this year. And if you're losing to a team like Auburn in your house, it's going to screw you up. So I think Florida will not make it to the Final Four this year. I'm going to be honest. They could. I don't think they are. That's all I'm going to say. Now, moving on to our last conference, arguably – probably, I'm going to be honest, this is probably the most boring conference yet. I got the Big 12. Baylor versus Arizona State. Give me Arizona State. I don't really got too much to say. Utah versus, the photo's a little blurry. God, look who they're playing. Wait, does that tell me who they're going to play? Okay, sorry. They play BYU. Wait. Do I have the wrong conference tournament? Wait a minute. This is kind of embarrassing. Sorry, it's Utah versus Cincinnati. My bad. No, I had the right one. Just the photo's blurry. My bad, guys. Utah versus Cincinnati. I'm going to take Cincinnati. I don't really got too much to say. I just got Cincinnati. Kansas State versus BYU. Give me BYU. BYU made it last year. I think they went to the Sweet 16. Not bad. Not greatest. They're not good this year, though. I think BYU just wins because Kansas State isn't good. Next up, we got Oklahoma State versus Colorado. You know what? Give me Colorado. Give me Colorado. I got a feeling about them. Now we got Arizona State versus Iowa State. Give me Iowa, bro. Iowa State could have been a 1 seed, but they've been falling off too much. Now we got Cincinnati versus UCF. Give me UCF. Easy. Give me Kansas State. No, I said BYU. Sorry. Give me BYU versus West Virginia. I think BYU just got upset West Virginia. That's bottom line. Colorado versus TCU. Give me TCU. Moving on. Iowa State versus Texas Tech. Give me Iowa State. Give me Iowa State to beat Texas Tech. I think they're upset worthy. I think they can do good in the tournament. UCF versus Arizona. I think Arizona can just blow people out. They're not the best team to me in the college basketball, but they're not like the worst. They're a top 4 team for sure, but I think Duke's just the best. They are. But give me Arizona win this. Now I got West Virginia versus Houston. Houston is good. I think Houston can make the Final Four this year. Give me Houston. TCU versus Kansas. Kansas isn't bad. Peterson, I think could carry. I know it said point guards and centers run this league, but he's different. Give me Kansas. Now I got Arizona versus Texas Tech. Give me Arizona. Simple. Now I got Houston versus Kansas. I'll be honest. I like Kansas' odds this year in March Madness, but I also like Houston's. So I'm going to go Houston. I think they're just a better team. Now I got Arizona versus Houston. I have an upset. Give me Houston to beat Arizona. Arizona's one of those teams that can just slip up. Michigan's is more of a team to slip up. I think Arizona can slip up in this type of situation. Give me Arizona to lose to Houston. And that wraps it up. Thank you guys for watching. Subscribe. I need it. I only got like 23 subscribers right now. Subscribe. Thank you. And how do I end this thing? Oh, here we go. Thank you guys. Bye.